What is good, everybody? What is good? It's Big Game James, man. We're back in the building, and you know what it is? It's Burgers and Blitzes time. Took a little hiatus last week. Had some things going on. Glad you're feeling well. Glad your wife's feeling well, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
Always got to get those good checkups. You feel me? I got to get mine. It's. We older now, so you got to do those type of things. But but some lot of things been going on in Cowboys world. Not free agency, but as usual, all the off field talk. Um, Obviously, we see the free agency is going slow as normal. Shout out to everybody coming in the building. The free agency is going slow as normal. We kind of used to it. I don't accept it, but we're used to it. But kind
Mhm.
of give me your thoughts about the situation going on right now. We're still waiting. You keep hearing all these things in the news. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. What's going on with that? We just heard about. We just saw the firestorm on 105 The Fan with the $100 million rape case or whatever you want to call sexual assault case. Just kind of give me your thoughts about kind of all this that's going on right now.
I'm not going to touch the case.
Okay.
I think we should stay away from that.
Okay.
Now, as far as everything else goes, I mean, it's what we expected, and what not expected. I guess we did expect to lose a few guys, but we thought that they at least would have, whatever they feel about Dak, they could have got Lamb, or something like that. Instead, what they're creating now is obviously they're. I mean, you might as well rebuild. You're already there. You're already there. You're missing three offensive linemen, and you just lost what, seven, five, six, seven players on your defense. You want to fill that in a draft? You ain't you're filling that in a draft. I mean, you're lucky to get two, three players every draft. And the issue is they're not capable of doing the rebuild. It's going to be more. It's always a half measure. They never full commit. If you're going to send it, send it. Burn it to the ground. Have a 2-win season. Get Dak off the books next offseason. He walks a free agent. You get a comp pick for him because you're idiots, and then away we go. But instead, they're going to ride this Dak thing until probably August. It's one of those things we talked about. If he wasn't signed by the league year, I don't think it's happening until way into the summer because they can't franchise him,
Mm-hmm.
and they obviously don't like him. They've never really been in on him, and we've talked about the reasons why people get mad when I say that, but it is what it is. One of these things is not like the other, and all these other quarterbacks that came through here have been treated like they invented oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in a situation where your quarterback's a $60 million cap hit. He has a no trade clause, and he's an unrestricted free agent at this time next year. By the way, he has two of the smartest agents in the history of the business in his corner, who absolutely hate everything to do with the Cowboys right now, and they've been shipping their players. Go look at the names of players that have left and see what agencies they're tied to. Just about everybody but Gallimore is with either CAA, who he still has ties with, or agents or players first. And Dave, Dave and Todd are currently not on speaking terms with the Cowboys front office, which where a lot of this comes from. People are like, oh, we're going to get Derrick Henry. Well, Todd France is his agent. Him and Steven ain't speaking right now. They haven't. They haven't been on speaking terms, if you will, in almost 4 years. And they got back together to get the Dak deal done, but then it was so you have this situation where the Cowboys, they almost have this self fulfilling prophecy. It's like, Steven took over with when Steven took over, it was basically the Brandon Carr thing was the last thing that Jerry really spearheaded. That was a good trade, but Catboy has it in his mind that for some odd reason he paid a premium for an average player, which may be true like the first year or the last year, depending on how you structure the contract. But cap goes up. Cap goes up. Whatever you signed him for today, a year from now, it's going to be generally 10 to 13% less than that. And he's just been stuck in his. He talks about it to this day that we don't want to pay great player money for good players. Well, you're assuming that going into the draft, this prospect who's maybe played 30 career games in college is going to step in day one and be a contributor like the guy that you were going to quote unquote overpay for. So you're going to give up a second round pick for him and you're going to cut him in 2 years. Now, which one of these was a worst investment? That
Yeah,
therein lies the problem. So
I mean,
they sign these trash. 30 seconds. They sign these trash level players that no one carols of the world is still, and they go, well, see, we spent in free agency, we didn't get anything. Well, yeah, you bought scraps.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna answer this question. I'm gonna bounce off what you're saying. Shout out to interest with the $5 Holly says the Jones boy are really gonna push Dak out of Dallas, aren't they? It just seems like it feels like it's gonna happen. It feels like it's gonna happen. I
Yeah,
don't know. It feels like it. But just how you're talking about the free agency. See, like I said, this is the problem with it. Just like you said, they wait and wait and wait. We understand those top heavy guys. We know they're not going to do it. But like I said, the Ashawn Robinson that I've been pushing, he's affordable and he was a damn good player last year.
mm-hmm.
When my guy Dominic White was talking about Grover Stewart, there were guys that you didn't have to spend a lot of money on
Mm-hmm.
that you could get in the first wave. You will still wouldn't have to overpay for them. That's just what he has in his head now, that it's always the first and second wave. They're going to overspend. They're going to overspend. We're not going to do that. We're always going to wait. Well, the thing is, when you keep on waiting, you're always going to get that bottom of the barrel. You're going to get those 32, 33-year-old guys that really don't have a market for them. And then you're like, hey, you want to play for us for 2 years for $6 million? They ain't got no choice. The market's dried up. There ain't nothing there. And then they're going to
Ain't got
put
kids to feed. Yeah,
right. They're going to push that agenda us like, hey, look who we got. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to push this Eric Kendricks thing because I feel like they're really going to sign him. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
didn't he
where do
just
you
sign?
think?
Didn't he just
No,
sign?
not
Oh,
with Eric Kendricks. No, not Eric Kendricks. I don't think he has signed just yet.
I
What's
thought
good,
he signed
everybody?
yesterday, or was I seeing he was released?
He was released with the Chargers.
Okay,
I haven't seen anybody pick him up yet,
that's
but
right.
there's that connection with him and Mike Zimmer. And since he's 32 years old, he is on release. That would be the perfect where you see the Cowboys. Hey, we got somebody, because right now they're pushing the Carl Davis thing at the defensive tackle. Okay, that's a big body, but he hasn't done anything. I mean, what do
He's
you think?
trash.
Are you going to sit there and we're going to put this on
He did.
Mozzie again?
He signed with the Niners. I thought he
Oh
signed
wow,
somewhere.
damn. Okay, well we can't talk about that. I wasn't on that. We can't talk about that. So I mean, this is crazy.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're just getting, and Gallimore's gone now.
Gallimore just
I
went to
mean,
the Dolphins.
okay, so that's are we at are we at 8 on the
Uh,
defense alone?
well, I know Dante Fowler's gone. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. is gone. Gallimore's
Gilly's gone if they
gone.
don't re-sign him.
Yeah, Gilly's gone if they don't resign him. I know
And
Washington wants him.
what's his face is about to go to no Washington wants Lewis. Lewis is about to go to Washington, so he's
Okay,
about to be
well,
gone. So now we're at 7 right there. I mean, we're
and then
gone. We're gutted, dude.
Beatis is gone at the center
I'm just talking.
position.
I'm talking defense alone.
Right.
Defensively alone, we've lost 7 or 8 guys, and LVE soon to retire. We know that's coming. So out of your 15 usual player rotation last year, you've already lost over half of those guys. You're already in the rebuild. Now we can get to the offensive side of the ball. Are they going to bring Cooks back, or we even know what's going to happen there? Are they going to cut Gallup? Why don't we go get Mike Williams for $4 million without that? His contract is like if you see the agent math, it's a $18 million or whatever, right? I think only 4.5 of that is guaranteed, and less about $1 million of it is signing bonus. Everything else is performance bonuses. 750 yards, 5+ touchdowns, make the playoffs, make the Super Bowl, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. 100 catches.
Okay.
This all,
So
it's a
see, we
bunch of
just called it.
incentives.
You see this? I'm listening to you, Mike, but I'm just looking at this. It says Kendricks changed his mind, and
What the?
he was going to the Niners and he came
So
to Dallas.
that just happened. I don't even
I,
have my
I
phone on me. That
neither
just
do I.
happened.
Must have, yeah, it must have just happened. Literally, it must have just happened while we were talking. What
Because
up, Paul Randolph?
last I heard, he was on a flight to San Francisco. That's
Yeah,
what
and
I
they said
thought.
he. That's what it said he signed, but they said he changed his mind. Um, they said, yeah, he did. He just tweeted it. But here's the thing: we already knew this was going to happen. Like, so are we getting excited? Something about we knew. Like, we knew as soon as Kendricks got released
Hey,
from the
hey,
Chargers, we knew it was
hey, you
coming.
know what, bro? I ain't ate in 4 days, and you got me a bologna sandwich with a Kraft single and some stale bread, and I'm hungry. Yeah, I'll
But
take it
that's what
right
they.
now.
But see, that's what I'm saying, Mike. That's the
I'm
way
not,
they want to
I'm
get us.
not, I'm not gonna say, oh, here is our year. That's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah, I
different
feel you. I
conversation.
feel you.
But
I feel you.
I gotta have these little nuggets of these little morsels every once in a while. I know I'm in Shawshank. Every once in a while, they let me on the roof and we get a beer. Yeah, we might have tarred the fucking roof to get it, but at least we got a beer out of the deal. I I think we're about to lose the quarterback for the first time in forever. I've talked a bunch of shit over the years about, oh, Dak's gone. I really think, allegedly at this point, that he doesn't necessarily care if he plays here or anywhere else. And the fact that the one player he asked to stay, regardless of what we feel about him, and regardless how they had conflicts in the past, felt like they started the vibe at the end. He asked for Blitez to stay. And what do? They don't even talk to his fucking agent, who is Todd France, by the way, and they ship him off. That's dirty, dude. And that's that. Like at a certain point, I like Dak's always been a company man, always been a march to the, hey, we're going to be a run first, or oh, we're going to throw the ball, whatever the narrative we're going to say. I'm just going to. That's why he's the perfect quarterback for Dallas, because he's never going to step in it on the podium. And he's done all this. At a certain point, you're like, you know what, man, I'm done. I'm done. Like, and that's where I think we're at right now, honestly. And
Yeah,
that's a highly educated guess, to say the least, without kicking up a bunch of shit. Um, it's not good. It hasn't been good. And this week is just, and it's like every time you try to get back up, somebody just steps on your damn head. It's just boom, 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 boom. Now my, you didn't re-sign Tyron because you thought he wanted too much money, even though I know what the offer was. Because if the offer was enormous, the team would have leaked it. All right, there's that. That's always, people always forget that stuff when it comes from, when the money comes from the team. That's the team. When the money comes from the agent, you get that overall number. We just signed. Joe Burrow signed. I'm just making up numbers. I don't know the structure. Joe Burrow signed a 5-year, $195 million contract, highest paid, yada yada yada. Then you see 37% guarantee. Two opt out years. All that. That's where the actual meat of it is. None of this press conference stuff. We don't even know half of these contracts that we quote unquote been signed. We don't even know the structure of them. We won't know them until the coming days. Where it's like, oh, like I do Wilkins. He said, oh, he got $100 million. Well, what's that look like? How much is that guaranteed? How much is backloaded? How much is signing bonus? And there's one thing the Cowboys hate doing, is signing bonus, because that is a cap hit that day. They hate writing that check. It's not that they don't have it; these cheap ass don't want to write it. If you sign a Dak Prescott and he gets a $18 million signing bonus, you're writing that check that day. Bingo. Or the contract's void. Until you write that check, that contract doesn't exist. That's why the Raiders had to get rid of Khalil Mack back in the day, because he couldn't. They literally didn't have the money for his signing bonus. That's a whole different scenario. But the point remains: they're just so cheap. It's so frugal, and he spent so long alienating and bullying. He was always been the bad cop. Jerry's been there. Oh, hey, we'll do this. We'll do, smooth you over, buy you a drink. Hey, you want a couple of hookers? That sort of thing. Meanwhile, this dude over here wants to bully people for over 2 decades, and nobody wants to talk to him anymore. Man, they're tired of it. And this is the
yeah.
effect that you're seeing of this. It's not that maybe they didn't want some of these guys to go. Maybe they didn't have the option, because they always say, well, the phone's going to ring. Well, everybody's got that member of their family that they got to call them. And if every time they call them, they get a guilt trip about why you ain't called in 3 days. Man, your phone works two ways. Phone works two ways, dude. And they want to sit there and wait for the phone to ring and then expect a good deal to be on the other end. No, that ain't how it
I
works.
mean, I want to ask you a quick question about this Dan Quinn thing. Just a quick question. I want to read this thing of what it says about Kendricks, and I see the reason why he had a change of heart. It says that he had signed with the 49ers, but Mike Zimmer wanted Kendricks to help run the defense, and Kendricks preferred to play in Dallas because he wasn't going to run the defense in San Francisco. He wasn't
Shout out,
going to be
shout
that
out,
guy.
shout out to the
You,
pirate. Maybe, hey, where Kendricks does it, it's almost like a Sean Lee situation. That dude is cerebral. He may not have it in his leg, but we're not going to have guys running into each other when they're running cross routes and shit like we had last year. That's
right.
that was a major thing. That's when LVE went down. Regardless how people thought he was playing, you lost your signal caller, and those other dudes couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
went
he
to
brings he brings some physicality too. I will say that he's a physical player.
yeah, and he's a good dude. I mean, he's good. I mean, it's a damn good signing. So we'll take that. We'll take that little victory. Now go get me Mike Williams. Restructure if you don't want to sign Dak and you want to have any faith about this team moving forward this season, go ahead and restructure Trayvon Diggs. That's an early contract. That's a young player. Don't touch Lawrence. Don't touch Martin. Martin's retiring next summer. You're lucky if you don't do it this summer because he
Mm-hmm.
damn near did it last year. They had to talk him out of it. Now, don't touch those old player contracts, but go ahead restructure Diggs. I think it frees up I get in trouble when I talk contract shirt, witchcraft, but I think it frees up about 15 million.
Mm-hmm.
15 million can go get you a couple good players. It's not the best thing. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, dude. Like, if you want to be negative all the time, like, it's a little bit of a signing. Like, it's something. And is I forgot about Hankins. I don't know if they're bringing him back or not because he's a free agent.
They better. I mean, he's going to be affordable, and he said he would come back. You feel me? So that makes sense. The guy wants to come back. He's already been familiar with the program. That just seems like we're signing our own. You feel me? So that would just make the most sense for them to bring him back. Especially he's a big body. They're pushing the Carl Davis. We had him on the roster. So if you add Hankins back, they're going to say, well, we got two big guys. You still got Mozzie. I don't know. That's where they would go. But it feels like that is the most logical thing, especially when they're not really trying to go after the defensive tackle now. DJ Reader's still out there. I don't know if they would look at him because he might cost some money, but he's a big boy that can really stuff that middle. I know. I'm just throwing a name out there. You feel me? That could possibly happen. But like you said, we'll take. I don't. I understand it, so I'm not going to get
I'm not
mad. But
shooting. I'm not shooting fireworks off and shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not mad at it. I mean, he was a productive player last year. He's familiar with the system. He is a physical player. He has some tackles for loss. Like you said, he's a green dot guy. He knows he's going to put the guys where they need to. He will be physical. So for what it is, you will have to take it. Obviously, you would want, just like we were talking about, Mike. You're putting all this reliancy on the draft when you could just sign a 26-year-old linebacker in his second deal and you got a 4-year guy at least, and you know what he's going to bring to the table instead of you depending on these rookies in the draft and you haven't seen them play in the NFL. That's a big gamble.
You'll get me Isaiah Simmons. You could have that dude for like $3 million. That's it. He's in their price range. You could have him for that. All his stuff is still rookie contract. It's all you go get him. I mean, we
Yeah,
remember we talked about him in the draft, and then he went
yeah,
to Arizona where talent goes to die, and then he went to New York where everybody quit, and he was
yeah,
still kind of playing. Go get me
mm,
Isaiah Simmons. That would be a massive, massive, massive addition. On
yeah.
for no, not I mean, in relative terms of
And
boomer
he's
bust,
athletic. And he's
of
athletic.
of boomer bust. I'm not saying he's going to come in
Yeah,
here and go out pro, but
yeah.
you get the dude for like $3 million, and you got
And
like a
he's young
day.
and cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset when they didn't trade the seventh for him last year. It's like, man, you could have got. We talk about this all the time. A day three pick. I'll trade a day three pick right now for damn near Jalen Smith. Anything that absolute even kind of looks like an NFL player at one point in time is pretty much worth any day three pick you want to throw at him. Because half the time those dudes don't even make the team.
Yeah. And what do you think about the draft picks from last season? Do you think that those guys will
Awful.
step up? Maybe Junior
Oh,
Fehoko, anything like that? You
nope,
think there's
nope,
anything for him?
nope,
Really? You think he will? You think he even makes it out of camp?
no. I mean, he can't. For one, he can't stay healthy. So there's that. And then you got, I don't know what the hell, maybe there's a reason they did let Mike McCarthy have say over personnel in Green Bay because he finally gets to say, and he was in there drafted Horny and had a red rocket for a tight end, and we got a dude that can't fucking play. When we had a dude that can play, and I was screaming we had a dude that could play, and
Hmm.
not to beat that over the head. And then we get a defensive tackle, and I don't know what's going on with him, but it ain't anybody that like is. Hey, Dan Quinn's gone. I'd love to bury Dan Quinn right now with anything. I hated that dude, but Dan Quinn did not ask that kid to lose 50 pounds. He didn't. And when you ask anybody about it, everybody gets real quiet and they won't even answer off the record. So there's something going on there that I hope gets figured out for him and the team. And that's a big reason, maybe the Kendricks thing can help there, but you know how everybody clicks up. You got your DTs and you got your edges, and everybody kind of clicks up. I really wanted that Wilkins thing, man, because he could have big brothered Mozzie. Mozzie needs a big brother right now, and maybe
Yes,
Hankins don't. Maybe like we talked about, maybe Hankins don't want to do it. He's mid 30s. He got kids playing. Maybe it's wrong to ask that of somebody, but if he wants to do
that's
it,
that.
fantastic.
Right.
If
That's
you
why I
want,
really
if
want to Ashawn Robinson because he's been
okay,
to a Super Bowl. He was productive. He was one of the top run defenders. I feel like
yeah,
he would just come in and
that would hurt.
automatically that one hurt. Like he was affordable. Like you didn't have to sit there and y'all could have came at him and it you could have afforded it, y'all. Like that was there was guys. That's the thing that's frustrating. They always feel like if it's the first wave, you're overspending. No, it's not. You can negotiate your skills to the Dallas Cowboys. If you got that aura like that and you got negotiation skills, then you can still negotiate a good deal and and tell them these type of things. But they'll come and tell us, oh, we gave them a number, but they didn't want that number. Yeah, because it's a super low ball number. I mean, it's the lowest. They're not gonna do that, and that's why they sit back and wait. Because they know Dallas ain't paying shit. These are the players. You don't think they talk back in these locker rooms and things of that nature, like, oh, you going to Dallas? Oh, they ain't paying you nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's the typical. Like I said, I'm cool with Kendricks coming back, but it's the typical signing that the Cowboys do. Over 30 player. Um, Come with the prior a regime or a prior defensive coordinator, just like what Dan Quinn did. So it's kind of like the typical thing. I would just love to get some young players in here on a deal where they're proven, you're going to have them about at least 3 or 4 years, and they can really grow with your team and grow with your defense. And that's what I really like. I don't really like the 1 or 2 year deals sometimes with the guys not over the hill, but they're getting there because at any time that age can creep in. You know what I'm saying? It can
Well,
creep in at any time. They can. We've seen guys 32, 3, and they down trend quickly. Whereas you got a guy who's 25, 26, it's a little different. And that's just where the angle I come, and that's where the my frustration comes. But like you said, I'll take it. Ain't got no other choice.
no, I was trying to see who his agent was, and it doesn't list it, so he might have done it himself because that
Who
would just be
Kendricks?
another. No, Robinson.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that would
yeah.
just been what another. That would have been another. I don't know because I know Wagner doesn't have an agent, but I'm just trying to connect dots and see if I'm chasing more theories, and there's a lot of dots that have connected over the years that this week has really shot up red flares about, and it's really troublesome when you realize that this front office has beef with two of the most high powered, the two highest paid and high powered agents in the league and their coworkers. Um, you know, between those two guys, they represent like 55 of the main players you can name off the top of your head. The reason the Diggs deal got done, he's with that Venables, or not Venables. I forget. I always stumble on his damn last name. But between that one agency, they have I think it's upwards of like 260 players, and they're names that most people would know just by scrolling. I mean, we're talking Brandon Ayuk, Dak Prescott, Aaron Donald. We're not talking, these D3 walk-on guys. Think these dudes don't talk? Hey, Sean Roberts at CAA. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well,
So,
there it is. He's under CAA. Well,
yep.
is CAA those guys?
No, no. See, Todd France and David were with, I believe, David and yeah, because he got in trouble. Yeah, words. How to say this? I don't want to step in it. They used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
work
yeah.
together,
Right. They
and then
split, and he created his own thing.
he joined over here, and then all of a sudden now David works for them, and there was a potential lawsuit that may be ongoing about talent poaching. Um, but happens all the time. You know, if you quit and you don't, then you sit out your non compete. There's nothing they can do. So, but now they work. They used to work together at CAA, and now they work with Athletes First, which Athletes First um, rocked with Aaron Rodgers for like all 7 of his contracts. So they get people paid. And if you saw the tweet, matter of fact, let me pull it up because there is right before we went live. One of my last tweets was David Muliata, Muligata, whatever you want to say. All these guys with contract years left getting cut, and no one but not one peep about teams being disloyal. Hashtag players deserve every penny. 446, March 13th, 2000. You know who represents Micah Parsons?
Who's that?
David Muglietta.
Ha!
It's
So
gonna
you already,
be,
so you already
it's
know
gonna be
that's gonna be dirty. That's gonna be some dirty business
oh.
right there. That's gonna be some real dirty business right there, buddy. And
But hey,
that's why they wouldn't get those guys. Those top guys with the Cowboys,
they
they go
ain't
get
playing,
those
dude.
top agents because they ain't playing. They already know what
That's
the
what.
Joneses gonna do.
Okay,
They already know they're gonna finesse them, and they're like, no, we ain't going for that.
Todd France represents Josh Allen. You know what they said? Hey, Todd, what's the number? They said, all right, cool. Because we know, we know what we got, and I think Dak Prescott, he may not have the ceiling of Josh Allen, but I think he's better on a more consistent day to day level, and he got paid, no questions asked. And the market is what the market is when it comes to quarterbacks. It's just the way it is. It's a nationally set price. Do you want one or not? Because if not, get out of line. There's 12 people behind me, behind you that want to pay. They don't. If Dak hit the free market, it'd be piranhas. But it's it's just cause and effect of this. Oh man, it's going to be so much fun with the chronically online pass rusher, whose brother is chronically online too, and they have a podcast. That podcast is getting picked up by HBO, and he's going to be under contract negotiations with. Oh man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be drama.
Yeah, it's gonna get real bad. So what do you think about the CD Lamb thing?
I don't know why it's not done yet, but that's the one agent they're on good terms with.
Really?
Yeah, I believe him and Diggs have the same agent. It's that I may be misspeaking here, but I believe they have the same exact freaking agent, dude.
Hmm. Okay. So yeah, so if that's the case, they would try to come, but he said he wanted to be the highest paid, but they would finagle it. I'm sure. Just like I said, I'm just want to see what's
Yeah.
going on with this Dak thing because I just want to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I just want to see how it plays out. Now let me ask you, they re-signed or they took on Trey Lance's option. They
Hmm.
said they want him to compete with Cooper Rush for that second spot. What if he comes in? I'm just going to throw out something hypothetical. What if he comes in preseason and I listen to John Machota and he burns it up? I mean, he looking real nice. Um, and that's in the preseason. Do you think they already have Dak signed up by then, or do they want to see a Trey Lance thing, and that's why they're kind of holding out and trying to re-sign Dak?
Uh, we've talked about this ad nauseum, and I've always
I
said it's
know,
nonsense.
I know,
It's not.
I
No,
know.
no, no. I've always said it's nonsense, but I want them to find out. I want them to. What I would want to happen with the way everything's playing out right now. I talked
Hmm.
about it last night, and a certain couple family members and a couple burner accounts who I know who actually operates the accounts and stuff liked it. I said that after the draft, all right, I already be talking to my agent. I already be talking to my agent. Right? After the draft, I'd let Todd France know, drop the bomb. I do not plan on playing another down with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm signing a deal. I'm waiving my no trade clause. And here's an agreement I've worked out with such and such team. After the draft, where they think they're sitting and talk, oh, we got Dak right where we want him. We got one now. On that Sunday, light the beacons and burn this sumbitch to the ground. That's what I would do at this point. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but that is an entirely, if he wants to, that is an entirely feasible possibility because they already know the number. Todd France knows the number. They're not idiots. The number is what the number is, and it's only going to go up, right? So if you're it's a legal tampering period. If you want to talk to you talk to whoever you want to talk to in the open. Hey, Denver, what y'all looking like? Hey, San Fran, I know you're kind of tied up. You want to keep running the back with a dude? You want to keep coming the quarterback short? What about Miami? Hey, Tua to Dallas. Hey, woo! There's all kinds of these possibilities you could work, and I would not do it until after the draft on that Sunday, 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Dak Prescott signs 6 year, $230 million deal, whatever the hell the case may be. About 62 a year. Waives his no trade clause. Voidable years at the end of the deal. And hey, by the way, I just happen to know a team that wants me, and here's you a first round pick and a pass rusher or something, because you think I suck, so I'm not going to get a haul. So, they can just give me, hey, here's a couple Whataburger gift cards and a 2029 first round pick. They'll probably get fleeced on the deal because they're idiots. I mean, every big move they've tried to make, they fumbled. And that, to me, would be beautiful. It would be the first time that I would celebrate something in Dallas in 30 years because they deserve it. And I think, you know, it's not to that point yet, but it's I've never seen it this bad with their current relation. It's always been amicable. His current relation with up versus sideways, like him and Mike, coach, it's coach. But these guys, hmm,
Well, like I said, it's about to yeah, I'm gonna put this right here. It says, does Mike have ties to the Cowboys? Seems like he has a lot of inside info. He do have that lot of inside trader
I
information,
just
don't
I just a man with the internet connection. I know it.
he? Yeah, yeah,
Allegedly.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to play out. I'm watching and waiting. But as for me, I feel like, it's just the same. I'm not really excited about anything. I feel like this is the same thing they always do. So I'm not jumping up for joy. This is what they do. This is not no, ooh, they did something out of the ordinary. They're doing the same thing they do every year. They're not changing from it. They're just going to expect, okay, we sign these guys now, make it happen. That's the way I feel like they come, make it happen. And so many times it doesn't, but hey, we'll see. Um, so we can ready to get off of here soon, real soon. But I want to ask you about this first round pick, maybe first two picks. What would you be looking like in the 24th pick? Let's say, do you think they're going to get an offensive tackle in free agency? Do you think they're going to
I
sign
mean,
Tyron Smith? Do you think that? What do you think about that?
as it stands right now, you might as well put a sign out front of the door that says left tackle, offensive center wanted in the first round. I mean, you're broadcasting it, and in the second round, it's going to be a running back, which I actually don't hate that. I don't hate the second round. That's a whole different. Especially the back of the second round. That's a whole different conversation.
Hmm.
Um, Personally, I think they need a wide receiver, but I'm with that guy. I think you can draft a wide. We talked about it. You can draft a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds in one of the first 3 rounds every single year, and generally make a good pick there. Um, just like with Gallup, it worked out. You didn't have to sign him when he had a broke leg.
You
Yeah,
take it.
Bo Nix,
Oh,
me and Bo Nix are the same age.
I don't want no Bo Nix. I like Bo Nix. He's cool peoples, but I don't want him. Um, so, like I said, so if it was one of those dynamic receivers in the first round, like that Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, like if he was there at 24 and you had like other offensive tackles that were highly graded, what would you do? Would you take the tackle or would you? And so let's say Tyron Smith is gone. Would you take the tackle or would you take the receiver?
That's where it comes back to now. You got to draft Horny. You don't have a choice. You don't have that opportunity of CD Lamb sitting there at 17. Hey, we was gonna take Chase on, but check this out. We filled the hole. Look at this. CD Lamb sitting here. Check that out. Let's go get that better player. So that's the hole they put themselves in, and you're gonna have to. I mean, it all keeps coming back to the deck deal unless they want to restructure. Unless they want to restructure Diggs, man, it all comes back to the Dak deal, and that's what they're going to spin in the media, and the fans are going to eat it up because they're a bunch of morons. Um, when realistically, they're the reason they're in this situation in the first place. They got held over the barrel so bad, and this is literally rinse and repeat from what was it, 28, 18, 19. I don't know how the years work anymore. The last contract, same thing, had them over the barrel, didn't have a choice. Okay, I don't want to know no trade clause and this that, and you can't franchise me and all this. That's what they're looking at again. And I know the Catboys' ego is not gonna allow them to do that unless something drastic changes. Dak's gonna have to be the bad guy publicly.
Yeah. Uh, I agree, but it's hard for me to see him do that. But that's something we're gonna see. It's hard for me to see him do that because, when we was talking about the culture, and I'm not, he vehemently was like, well, not vehemently, he was like, nah, I take that personal. I think the culture is good and stuff. So I don't know, man.
The part he can control is, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, everything swirling around it is crazy. So like I said, this is going to be interesting to see, Mike. It's the same thing, every year. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see. I just feel like it.
they
You
they
know,
haven't been backed into a corner this bad in Dak's tenure. That's the issue. They're backed into a corner bad, and they busted on this last draft, and they just lost half their defense. They're backed into a corner real bad, and if they don't, once again, if they don't touch Diggs, they're gonna have to touch Diggs and Dak if they want to field a functional team. And I'm worried about that happening. I wonder if they maybe finally have the balls to rebuild. Which is, if you do, call up Dak, team friendly deal. No problem. Signing bonus today. Get the shit worked out before the draft. Who's at the top? Is it the Giants? Giants have traded this year's first and next year's first, and Dak signed a waiving his no trade clause, and he's signing a 6-year deal with the New York Giants. That's You could do that, but this waiting for the phone to ring is not going to get that done, especially when everybody hates you. Because I guarantee you, the only reason we have Kendricks is because Mike Zimmer was like, "Hey, bro, don't get on that plane. I'm gonna get my phone and start looking when we get off here." But it had to have been something like that because it wasn't Steven running on the fucking tarmac. He's just South by Southwest right now, drunk off his ass on Johnny Walker.
All right. So one last thing. I've been screaming, not screaming, but I talked about AJ Dillon last week, possibly being a running back coming here. Big back. Feel like he kind of fits their mold, and now there's been a lot of talk about him. So before we kind of end this, do you think they pick him up and then draft a running back high, or what?
Here's the thing, man. So they're apparently, the Dillon thing is supposed to be like $3 million when Zach Moss was too much for $4 million. Dillon's trash. I mean, he's just used up, man. And he's if you want that, go find some Big Ten reject and on day 3 and throw him back there. Like the chances of you signing this dude and him not even making the team are like he's probably going to be inactive for 70% of games unless you have some injury thing. And Rico, by the way, Rico Dado's a free agent. Your boy, they just got him
Yeah, I
sitting out in
know.
the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a there's something I want to circle back to on the Tyron Smith thing that's been eating at me.
Mm-hmm.
He went, didn't he go basically all pro last year, AP2 or Pro Bowl, like one of his best seasons, right? It was
Who's
some it
that?
was some type of damn award. Tyron Smith,
Tyron Smith.
yeah, had one of his
I
best.
don't. He had
He
one of
had
his
one of his
best
best.
graded years. He has one of his best
Yeah,
graded years in a while. So yeah.
but nobody wants him in a league that's in a drought of offensive line talent. Dirty pool, dirty pool. They know nobody wants to touch those medicals. They know it. They clear him.
But ain't nobody else gonna clear those medicals.
They know it.
So it's either us or
Allegedly,
retire.
kind of dirty. This is the shit they pull, man. Like, and it's nothing about it is quote unquote illegal. I mean, it's all in the game though, right?
Right.
So so when I put the shit on Twitter, said I got the shotgun, you got the briefcase, take my money. I hope everybody that comes to get a contract at Dallas, I hope Jalen Smith counts his money every night. Enjoy it. I love that Zeke is hitting them for $12 million this year on dead cap. He ain't even here. $12 million ain't even here. I love it. Good, good for you. I'm glad. Get your money. Get your money, because these dudes, they ain't running the tight ship. If they were running the tight ship, they wouldn't do that sort of shit. They went and paid Jalen Smith because they were mad that Dak wouldn't sign the deal. And see, matter of fact, just a spite. It was a spite. Jalen Smith out the door said, "Hey, y'all giving out money? Thank you, sir." I was a rap. I don't blame him. I do the same shit. Like, man, my leg don't work. They gonna give me. They gonna give me like. They gonna give me $60 million. All right,
Right. Right.
good for him.
Yeah. Like I said, man, it's like they say, it's an evil world we live in when we play our, when we play our final words. The evil world.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like, and it's not if these NFL contracts are guaranteed, it would be one thing, but that ties back to you see this big number, Christian Wilkins 6 year, $100 million. Look how much of that is guaranteed. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Not
That's all that
nothing,
matters because pretty much them
nothing,
contract. Yeah. Go ahead.
nothing else. The signing bonus and your guaranteed percentage. That is all that matters. All that other shit is just on paper. It's a stock market. If you don't sell, you don't lose. You know. So just watch when these contracts come out over the next couple of days with the structure, and just see who got exactly what. And maybe we can go get a Mike Williams or a Cedric Wilson out there for because they're probably going to end up cutting him. But if they haven't already, there's moves you can make, and there's all of the typical moves. I guarantee you, by early August, because that's how they operate, you'll have probably two more linebackers, two more running backs, somebody they think's going to be a center. They'll probably draft a left tackle, or they'll probably draft a right guard, moving to left tackle, knowing them, and a couple more wide receivers. And it's not going to be probably anybody you heard of besides the draft
Mhm.
picks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Williams can't stay healthy.
No, it was-
Outside of last year, he played 15 games a season. So I'll take that. I'll take 15 games out of Mike Williams. For I think his contract structure is it's under 6. The rest of it's all performance bonuses. I don't even know what the hell a Brock Hoffman is. I mean, I know what he is, but what that man anywhere around here. It's just
I don't hate on Brock Hoffman, but I don't want him as the starting
the,
center, man.
the center is the arguably the most important position on the team. I know you need a quarterback and shit, but Jason Kelsey proved how much a great center can make an average quarterback be okay. It's it's arguably the most important position on the freaking team. Not as far as win probability or anything like that goes, but you want to talk about touching the ball every single snap, the checks, it's just uh, uh, that's why Travis Frederick we miss him dearly. An All Pro lockdown 10-year center is just as prized in my view as a 10-year quarterback. I put them on the same. That's why I wanted Avia so bad. My team would have fucking would have Avia playing center right now, and Rashawn Slater would be playing guard or tackle, either one. But it's we don't have that, unfortunately. We had to do dumb stuff and dumb everything up.
I'm gonna ask Drew. He's a Philly fan. He says, "Question: Day 3 of free agency. When NFC East teams are trending up and down?" I would say Washington's trending up just because everybody
Yeah,
jumping around on their signings.
dude,
Um,
dude.
they're
I just thought
trumpeting
about.
Dan Quinn right now. They just got Bobby Wagner. They got Frank Lulu. They got I don't know if I think they may got in 3 linebackers. It's
They're gonna
funny how
take.
Dan Quinn. So let
They're
me
gonna
ask you
take
this
guard.
before. Let
What's
me
that?
just. I'm sorry. So let me ask you this. So you see Dan Quinn getting up all these linebackers over here. Was he? I'm not saying sabotage, but who was called? Was it to let go of these linebackers during the midseason when you saw him converting safeties to linebacker, but when he goes over to his new team, he's getting official real linebackers.
In my opinion, that asshole Sabotage us, and he still is because he ain't take Curse with him.
Say that louder.
He sabotaged us. He sold in the playoffs, and he still is because he ain't take his damn Curse with him. Come back and pick up the trash you left, dude. You have that man out there with the signal with the green dot on. When his main knock coming out of college was that he can't cover, and you got him back there playing single high. The hell is wrong with you? And then, oh, I'm a changed man. I'm tired of these damn ex-Atlanta coaches absolutely fucking their team over in the playoffs and getting the head coach job and running off with a bunch of draft picks and $100 million of draft capital to spend. He's going to look like a genius for 3 years, assuming he gets a quarterback, because he's got $100 million of draft capital and he's in a no-lose situation. They just ran the owner off because they finally they couldn't fire John Gruden again, so they finally had to get rid of Dan Snyder, and he's got Kate Blanchett. He can do what the hell he wants. Which, by the way, hey, fuck it, come get Dak. You want to swing? You got your pick.
So do you think he wanted the Cowboys job and basically he couldn't get in?
He
That's why he
absolutely
left.
wanted the Cowboys job, and he got pissed when Mike McCarthy started when Dak they started rattling off them wins. He was already, he's like a high school student when he say, "Oh, we move it at the end of the year." So you give up on your electives and you half-ass everything that you don't need to do. Oh, fuck, I'm out of here. This shit don't even matter. I'm wasting my time. Wasting my time. You mentally check out, even if you're not doing it maliciously.
Right. So let me ask you this then, Mike. So those last couple of years when he was going to um those other teams, and he was like,
Hmm.
"Ah, I'm gonna stay because I love it here." Do you think he was coming back because he thought he had the job?
Yes. No, Jerry talks.
So it wasn't about he just loved Dallas and all this. He was thinking he had him a
Oh,
job
there was a
until
couple. There was a couple few motivating factors, and yeah, it was. I mean, what do you think Mike Zimmer's here for, dude? I mean, they openly. Mike McCarthy, hell, I think he was barely through his first season. No, Dan Quinn was barely through his first season then after the Mike Nolan experiment, and they were openly flirting with the media about, yeah, Dan Quinn. I think he'd be a hell of a head coach one day. Uh, you know, this, that, and the other. How do you think? How do you think that clocked in his brain? If he said that publicly, what do you think they were talking about in private when Jerry gets on that Johnny and Catboy gets on that Johnny, picks up the phone? Hey, how you doing, day kid? I'm fist biting. Hey, we think you'd be a hell of a coach. Like to keep you around another year. What do you say? Bump you, give you about 2 million. Help you pay off that. Help you pay off that vacation home. Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, I'll have them send the paperwork over, and I will, and it is, and we are, and you have you a good summer now, sir. All right, and I'll see you in August. You don't think something like that could have possibly, maybe, allegedly happened?
I mean, the way that ended, and just like you said, just the last season about all this, the
Promises.
experimenting with players and promises that being made, and then like you said, it just seems like, I mean, he was, I mean, him leaving and gutting the staff and taking the players. It just looked like feels vindictive. It feels like
That
I'm going to
motherfucker,
stick.
dude.
It feels
That
like I'm going
motherfucker.
to stick y'all. I feel like
He was
I'm
like,
gonna stick you guys for not
he
letting
about
me
to
be the
say,
coach, and I'm coming after y'all. That's what it feels like to me.
come get, come get close. Come get the quarterback. Come if you're gonna run the pockets, if you're gonna run, if you're gonna rob the dice game like Charlie Murphy on Chappelle's show, put the camera in the box. Come get everything. Make them rebuild because they're not capable of it on their own. Make them rebuild. Take everything but the damn sheetrock.
Yeah. Well, like I
And
said,
make
from that aspect, that's why I made a video about it, how I was pissed. Like, this feels like he was pissed that he didn't get the job with Dallas. So you know what? I'm coming after you guys. I'm taking everybody I can. If Dallas
yeah,
didn't block his ass, he'd have Al Harris and damn probably Lunda Wells too. You feel what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like he was going hard at them guys. So it's just funny though how the staff ran with him so quickly. Those guys ran with him. It just felt like, okay, well, if Joe Witt always wanted to be a defensive coordinator here, then why'd he bolt so quick too? I mean, they saw something we didn't see behind the scenes where they're like, I ain't staying here. If Dan Quinn is leaving, y'all ain't gonna screw me as the defensive coordinator. Did he feel that kind of way?
I mean, you have a mentally slipping owner with an alcoholic narcissist son who doesn't know the first fucking thing about football running around. Half of you are free agents. The coach you like just left. Now he has a head coach job, so you know he's going to vouch for you. They got all kind of draft picks. You get to come back and play Dallas twice a year, which ex players always love that shit. They love coming back and beat our ass. So there's all kinds of motivation behind it, and part of me don't blame him. You know, you're gonna they honey dicked him straight up. They honey dicked Dan Quinn. There was all kinds of talk about, head coach this and head coach that, and we're going to get you this and that. And next thing you know, they rattle off a couple wins, and well, he's like,
Yeah,
fuck y'all now. Like, this man's going to choke in the playoffs, anyways. Or, uh, then he went and choked in the playoffs. So
right.
that's a two-way street. But You know, it's human nature. When you do people dirty like that, it's going to come back around and bite you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, it's going to be an interesting year to watch those guys go at it. Those two, that's going to be very interesting
Hmm.
in this season. Watching the Cowboys, if there wasn't that rivalry that wasn't there before, there's definitely rivalry now. It's going to be intense games. Those are going to be very intense games, and I ain't gonna lie, the Cowboys get on my nerves, but those are two games I'm definitely going to watch because they're just going to be two very interesting games. I'm just going to like the plot and everything that comes with it.
We got four. Don't let it get lost in the plot that Kellen Moore went to
Oh, Kellen
Philadelphia.
Moore, yeah, Kellen Moore. I feel it feels like the coordinators left Dallas and said, "Oh,
Do it.
Kellen Moore, y'all was supposed to give me a job here in Dallas and you didn't. I'm gonna stick you." Dan Quinn said, "Oh, you supposed to give me a job here in Dallas? No, I'm gonna stick you." And they both
Well,
came to Philadelphia and Washington. Come on, that ain't no damn coincidence. Well, at least it ain't to me. It could be
no,
something totally different, but that
they
does not
brought
feel like a coincidence.
Howie Roseman specifically brought Kellen Moore in because his run scheme designs specifically brought him in because of that. Because they are a run first team. They went and got Saquon Barkley, and that proves the point even more. They let Swift walk. They went and got Barkley, which I thought they were fine with Swift. But that's neither here nor there. They'll probably draft another running back, and they are going to absolutely dog walk Dallas on the front seven every single time they play them because we can't handle any form of motion. And that was a part of the problem with our run designs last year. Mike McCarthy's run fits are absolutely terrible.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun with
yeah, I'm looking
those
forward to
games.
it.
Yeah, it's
Hell, I might get me a Dak Cumhanders jersey. Be rocking that number 4 in the maroon. Right in Dallas Stadium, talking the most shit.
yeah, and that'll be crazy. But hey, man,
I,
I know. But you know what? Just want to give a shout out to you, dog. It was a hell of a show today. We had a great crowd up to about 360 people. Mike brings
no
them.
shit.
You feel me?
God
Yeah, we've
damn,
been
thanks.
killing it.
Shout
Yeah,
out, folks.
yeah. Shout out to all the people in the building, 360 people in the building. I told you, Mike, bring them. I just start the show. This dude, bring them. So you feel me? I love it. Love your knowledge, how you bring. Love the inside trader information that you like to bring. And we'll just kind of see how this plays out. I already feel like I already know this book. I've already opened this book and knew the ending before I read this book. But you still, because you don't know the ending up front, you still try it. So you know, we'll see what happens. But I kind of know who they're going to sign. We knew Kendricks was going to be the first guy. We know probably Hankins. We kind of know the wave of what they're going to do. If you're any kind of a Cowboys fans, you've been following, you kind of know what they're going to do. So it's kind of not exciting, but it's like, well, it's the best we got, so we'll take it, and that's just what it feels, and that's just the way it's going to be. So, you know, we'll see. But I appreciate you, dog.
Shawshank beers. Yep. It's some Shawshank beers. We on the rooftop and we lay in tar, but at least I got a beer.
Yeah. You know, what I mean, there it is. So you see my dog Mike right there. Check him out on Twitter. He's a absolutely great follow. A lot of good information. Got a little good things. Um, so you know, like I said, we'll see how it is. We'll be banging next week, and we'll just see. It'll be for another week. We'll see if anybody gets signed who we want to get signed or we hope to get signed. We'll see if that happens. But right now, to me, it's the same old Cowboys. Ain't nothing different.
Let's go get Randall Cobb. Going to Super Bowl. Woo!
There it is. Hey man, appreciate you, dog. I'll
Yes,
talk to
sir.
you.
Later, man. Appreciate
Peace.
everybody. Thank y'all for coming by.
All right, man. So, you know, great job on my guy, Mike White, here in the building. So just want to, you know, appreciate him. Thank him for everything. And we are out. Appreciate everybody. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Big Game James. We out. Peace.